The Big Fibbers Contest. Learn more right after this.
Hey everybody! Heart disease affects 1 in every 3 women in America, but you can fight back. There's no time to lose. Mothers, sisters, daughters, families, and friends, it's time to shout louder, stand stronger, and demand change. Let's go!
To the Batmobile! Dang it.
To the invisible jet!
Dang it.
Together, we can put an end to heart disease. It's time to go red for women. I could use your help. Yeah! Learn more from the American Heart Association at www.goredforwomen.org.
Welcome to Community Watch. Greg,
Doug,
how you doing?
I'm doing fine. Actually, I'm not.
Why is that?
Because I'm just lying. I mean.
Oh, all right. Well, that was effective. I fell for it. I fell for it.
I remember this show from last year. I just think this is the coolest thing.
Well, you claim to not be good at storytelling, but I know that's
I can tell
true.
a lot now.
It's essentially the same thing, but with more details.
Oh,
but
okay.
I think fiction is invented stories, or it's lies, not exactly right, but it's invented.
But I like the thought of people coming together to tell the biggest fear. I mean, you can't. It just has to be just pure fun.
Well, we actually have quite a tradition of storytelling in the area, and some wonderful storytellers. And this event is something that's grown out of that. So that's what we'll learn about today. We'll have a couple of Fibbers in the studio with us, so they'll join us shortly. How much we can believe of what they say, I don't know, but
that's the fun part.
I guess. So stay with us. We'll be back with Terrell Shaw and Bob Harris right after this.
I'm transferring to the University of West Georgia.
Columbia University.
Kennesaw State.
UGA.
Loyola University in Chicago.
Grambling State.
Shorter University.
I'm going to Greensboro College, and we all got our start at Georgia Highlands.
No matter where your educational journey takes you, you can get your start at Georgia Highlands College. Georgia Highlands College. Enroll, engage, excel.
Welcome back to Community Watch. We're very happy to have with us Bob Harris and Terrell Shaw. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Glad
It's
to be
good to be here.
And I'll assume that's the truth.
Well,
We know about
I
the word.
tell you a lie?
Yeah. Terrell has never told a lie in his life.
I have
No.
not. I have not. Never.
Never. Honest and true. Swear on a stack of dictionaries. That's the truth.
Yeah. There, I did. I was given an award though. Twice now.
Yes, you have been given
twice,
an award,
twice.
and I've been witness to both those accounts.
Yeah, right.
He is the Rome Big Fibbers contestant winner.
I
And
am
he
the
has been
reigning
up against
Big
very prominent fibbers in this community. And big fibbing, the contest has been going on for how many years?
239. This is our 239th Big Fibbing Contest right here in Rome, Georgia.
Annually celebrated.
Absolutely.
Trust us.
100 years old, right?
We wouldn't lie about that.
No, for heaven's sake.
Come
All right,
on,
I'm
little
not trying to
word.
think where to go from here. I know when you were on the show before,
Yes,
we
yes.
talked a little bit about the storytelling, the growth of storytelling in the area.
Right.
Because y'all are both part of the Ridge and Valley group now, right?
We are.
Yes, we are.
And that kind of grew from some existing.
There have been several groups here, and they all kind of came together, and we're trying to encourage more people to tell stories and listen to stories and have it more aware in town. But that being said, as we said, many, many years ago, a little girl by the name of Debbie Brown started a contest called the Big Fibbers Contest. And we've had numerous winners, of which Terrell Shaw has won it twice. But this year is going to be a special year. We've got the West Virginia Big Fibbers Contest winner.
Five-time winner.
Five-time winner. Bill Lip, a noticed author, is coming to help with our project this year. He's coming to do workshops, all sorts of things. Terrell can tell you better about that, because if I told you more, I might be fibbing about some of the stuff.
Oh, no. That would never happen. Never happen at all. That's right. Bill Lepp's going to be here on the 19th, 20th, and 21st of March. He's going to spend all day that Thursday and Friday in some of the schools, telling absolutely true tales to boys and girls that will curl their hair. And we're going to have a big time with that. And then on that Thursday night, he's going to have his opening concert. And a couple of us who have been previous winners of the Big Fibbers Contest are going to get to reprise some of our past tales. And so that'll be our opening concert. We're really looking forward to that. Do you want the whole show now?
Well, we'll get. You're on a roll, I guess.
Okay, all right. Well, the second night, we'll on that Friday night, out at Berry, we'll have the Big Fibbers Contest, and we will have 14 well-respected Fibbers from throughout the state. I think right now we've got 6 out of town and 6 in town, they happen to. We've got 8 men and 4 women right now, and are expecting a couple more to.
Are you saying women tell lies? I mean, fib? No, I don't think so.
Is this on? Is this being recorded?
Okay, I don't know.
All right. Okay. Well, yes. Yeah, we're going to have a big time, and we will crown my successor as the official Big Fibber, and we've got quite a competition this year. Well, that's a little up in the air yet. You know, I'm kind of hanging out to see what we're going to have.
Time West Virginia, then we need our best, our two-year rating. I mean, I want to see the. Yeah.
Well, you know, I'm going to kind of leave that in the air a little bit for right now. You know, we'll see what else comes out of the woodwork, but yeah. And then on Saturday, we're going to have, now this is separate from the festival itself, but on Saturday morning for 3 hours, we're going to have Forging Fibs with Bill Lipp, a storytelling workshop, and up to about 20 or so storytellers from around the state can pay up their money and come and learn how to from America's favorite fibber. And that's going to be fantastic. We're not through yet, though. Saturday afternoon, no, absolutely not. Saturday afternoon, we're going to have the Young Fibbers Story Slam. Now, this is not limited to tall tales. So 17 and younger kids can come and spin a tale and compete. Are you familiar at all with The Moth? Wonderful new custom going on all over the place, these wonderful tales. It'll be a little bit more along those lines. Kids will be talking about the adventures that they've had in 5-minute segments. And we'll have 14, 17 and under competing for the Young Fibbers. That leaves us with the final grand conclusion, the finale, the Fibbers finale on Saturday night at 8 o'clock. We'll have Bill doing his big concert, and he will allow the winner of this year's Big Fibbing Contest and the winner of the Young Fibber Story Slam to reprise their tales at that big concert. So we've got a full slate of activities, and I'm looking forward to it. Don't bang on. Oh, yes, I do have to show this off. Look at this right here. This is a beautiful book. I've heard Bill Lepp tell this story for years and years. He was telling it on the storytelling circuit up in Jonesboro and elsewhere for years before Carmen Dede, another one of our famous storytellers from America, put a bug in his ear and said,
She's from Cuba.
Well, she's from Cuba by way of Decatur.
Okay, I just want to let you get straight.
I mean, give me a break here.
I just want you to lie about that. Just to get straight.
But Carmen Dede is a wonderful author in her own right. I don't know if you run into her children's book. She's got a passel of wonderful ones like The Library Dragon and so forth. But she said, Bill, you've got a children's book there. And they got a hold of David Wetzel, and David Wetzel is one of the outstanding illustrators in the country. He's probably best known for his Hobbit illustrations. But David Wetzel took Bill's story and drew the pictures for it, and it's almost like a Where's Waldo?
Yes.
Because Bill's story is full of such intricate detail all the way through it. It's called The King of Little Things, who's up against King Normus, who's sort of the king of big things, you know. And all the little things come in and kind of help him out a little bit. And they're just all kinds of little things involved. And so when David illustrated this, he managed to get every single one of them in the pictures. So the kids have about as much fun looking for the details in the pictures as they do anything else. I guarantee you the children are going to enjoy this. I've got 300 of them sitting in my front hallway.
Children?
And 300 children. And each one of them has one of these books.
He has been a very busy man.
Because the folks out at West End had told me that you need to get us a passel of these books because these kids are going to want to buy them. This won the Penn Award for Children's Literature last year, one of the major national awards for children's literature, and is just
And the illustrator has also won awards for his drawing. So
absolutely.
Between both things, the book is a treasure in itself.
Absolutely.
We wouldn't lie about that.
It is. So these will be for sale there, along with Bill's numerous CDs and DVDs. And we're going to have a big time. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. If you have not heard Bill before, you know, you might click on YouTube and put in Bill Lepp. B-I-L, just one L. He's got to give me the story behind that. And it's probably kind of like your little finger, but we'll... He has about 1 million tales about what happened to that.
A little finger. What? Oh, you mean? Well, there's nothing wrong with this hand. You weren't talking about this one.
That one over there, yeah. Well, that one over there, yeah.
When you touch broccoli, it's deadly.
I know it.
Trust me on that.
I know it. You got to watch out.
So this is what the show is going to be like.
I have no idea what you're
Hopefully, it'll be a little more focused every now and then.
I'm curious though, gentlemen, how do one get into storytelling? Because clearly I guess some people are just natural at it. And I guess like all things you can practice and become better. But how does one just become a storyteller?
I got it basically from my father's mother, and my father would tell stories when we were little. Dad used to tell us Governor Travel's stories as bedtime stories. And my grandmother would tell me stories about growing up in Thomasville in the turn of the century. And these stories added to when I started reading stories about King Arthur, and I collect swords and armor. I would go into schools and talk about
King Arthur.
I would go in there and talk about armor and knights, and the kids would kind of look at me like crazy, and so I would tell them a King Arthur story. Or I would tell them about real knights like Rodrigo de Bivar of Spain, or Joan of Arc, or Henry V, or something like that. But try to let the kids get the feel of what it was in the Middle Ages. And that led me one day to actually I saw a concert with Jane Cunningham doing Miss Jane stories about growing up in Mississippi.
Storyteller.
Absolutely. And she has helped you in the schools here.
Oh yeah.
And so, listening to Miss Jane, I started telling stories in schools, and then when I started teaching, I found that, as Terrell has, kids get really bored if you sit there and talk about October 14th, 1066 was the Battle of Hastings. But if you start talking about Harold Godwinson and how he prepared that morning for the battle, up on Seedlick Hill under an old gnarly apple tree and putting on his
storytelling approach to social studies.
Oh yeah, it just lends itself for it.
It's the only way.
You know, it was kind of natural. It came very fun, very easy for me to tell that, and I found that my hormone crazy 8th graders would listen. And so,
well, that's an achievement.
Yes.
It's the one time as a school teacher you got them right there, and it is so much fun. You just got them right there,
Right
you
there,
know,
right there.
right in the palm of the hand. I got started listening to my granddaddy tell stories in the barbershop. You know, I'd sit in his spare chair pumping myself up and down. Sit on the swing listening to my grandmom and her sisters, you know, talking about the poor old uncle that came back from the Civil War and had a duck fit, you know. It's a crazy story. Listen to my daddy talk about skinny dipping in the Yellow River and all that sort of thing. So naturally, when I got into teaching,
Was
I
the river yellow before he skinny dipped or after he skinny
Oh, man. Oh, Lord, have mercy on my soul.
I just want to get this story straight.
I do want to tell you about something else. Stop.
We've got to take a
Break.
A break.
But we're coming back. I
We're not
promise.
through.
that
We're
story
not
before.
through.
We'll be right back after this.
Lord help me.
I grew up in the housing projects of Cleveland. I didn't even know that life could be any better than it was. Education for me has been a way to get away from the agony of what was normal life. I want to be able to impact the community, not just look back on where I came from, but to reach back to where I came from and pull some people up with me. My name is David, and I am your dividend.
I'm so serious.
Welcome back to Community Watch. We are listening today to Terrell Shaw and Bob Harris.
I like that, listening.
That's pretty much what we're doing.
You invited us. Remember that.
I know.
And we're grateful. We're very grateful.
We are.
Let me remind folks about the event in case it gets lost somewhere. Big Fibbers Festival is coming up March 19th through 21st. It'll be at Berry and jam-packed full of events for the 3 days.
Absolutely.
And how much does it cost to attend?
$25 for the whole weekend, which will get you into the opening concert, the Big Fibbers Contest, and into the grand finale. And each of those events will be $10 a piece if you go individually. We have a youth event on Saturday afternoon, which should be a whole lot of fun, and it is a donation. Any donation will get you into that. So we're looking forward to that too. But $25 for the whole thing. Now, what's that? Oh, yes, you can visit www.bigfibbers.com, or even better, just get on Facebook and put facebook.com/bigfibbers, and that's probably even better. So come visit us and find out what's going on. We've got some great things.
So is that where they get tickets?
Well, to get tickets will be available, I think, at you're the one who told me about this now.
I did. Yes, I did.
At the Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Yes.
And it just went, yeah, okay.
Sounds good. Let's stick with that.
Okay, very good.
I will call Lisa tomorrow.
Very good. All right. And they'll, of course, be available at the door. And so y'all come. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. And I think probably the biggest storytelling event that we've had in Rome up to this point. We've had some wonderful things in the past.
Yes, we have.
But I don't remember a 3-day event ever.
No, we never have. We've done ghost stories for years and things like that. But we've never, and we've done Big Fibbers for how many years?
Well, 239 officially.
Get it straight.
That's right.
You got to realize the logic behind the 239 years. You know, this country's been around how many years?
239.
And it's been led by what kind of people?
Politicians.
Therefore, we now understand the term Big Fibbers, don't we?
It makes sense now.
Yeah,
I agree, 239.
Now, we've kind of had it a little bit more organized now. This will be the 6th year that we've been a little bit more organized about.
Yes, specialized and organized. Yes.
Absolutely. I want to tell you about something else that's going on, though.
There's more?
There is more. Well, first of all, we have wonderful folks like the folks at the Convention and Visitors Bureau, at Berry College, and at the library who have underwritten this wonderful project that we've got going. But the folks at the Chiaha Guild and Northwest Georgia Credit Union pitched in a little extra so we could do some pre-festival events with some schools. And we've got 3 schools that we're in, Armurchie Elementary, West End Elementary, and Berry Elementary, where either Jane Cunningham or myself or the 2 of us are teaching, I shouldn't say teaching, are leading a Young Fibbers Storytelling Club. And we are having a ball. I just finished my 4th session with the group up at Armurchie this morning, and those kids are going gung-ho working on their stories, and they've got some good ones going.
We ought to get some of them on.
You ought to. You ought to. I'll work on that.
All right. I think that would be great.
Oh, we've got some kids.
Do you think he's lying about that?
I have no idea.
Is this one of those "we'll call you" type things? We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see.
All right. I have to ask some questions about the actual competition.
Okay.
Why?
Because I'm curious. So, how do the contestants become contestants?
Well, we have decided this year, at least, to follow through on our previous rules, which is, come on, show up. The first 14 to show up can get 5 minutes apiece. And right now we've got 12 on the waiting list, and we've got 2 more slots. So if you're listening out there and you've got a tale to tell, you better get it in quick.
So you are not on the list yet?
Well, actually, I was the first one on the list, just in case we might fit 3 in if I decide that maybe it's time to give somebody else a shot at it, you know.
That doesn't seem quite.
Don't sound very American-like.
No. Because you have like a potential dynasty in the works.
Or that's true. That's true. You know, with prevarication skills that I have, and my mama is so proud. I want you to know I'm a double Methodist preacher's kid.
He's kept it in the family.
Yeah. Yeah, there's something about Methodist preachers and prevarication.
I think the word Methodist is really too confining. I really think you need to just kind of keep it as preachers.
Preachers. Well, I've known a Baptist or 2 in my day.
Yeah, I know. I've known a couple of priests too. So I mean,
let me ask you this: how do you determine who's the winner?
We have a panel of judges, and I've got a list for us to discuss. But we have a panel of judges. And these are people that know their stuff when it comes to fibbing.
So you had no trouble finding
no trouble at all finding qualified judges.
No. Nope.
We have to go Thursday.
Piece of cake.
Go. Wow. I'm just.
I mean, in the past, some of our judges have been judges. Lawyers. Real lawyers. I mean, you know, and teachers. And then a couple of just stray people we grabbed out the road. But anyway, you know, we've had people who are professionally trained in the art of, well, understanding and comprehending and grasping the pure essence of a tale.
You know, gentlemen, you know what I love about this? Because really, I know I can remember stories my grandmother used to tell me. And I was having this conversation not too long with somebody else about, you know, what happened to those stories? Because if no one took them down, over the years after not hearing them, you start missing pieces. But this is really part of the American tradition.
The sad part, and one of our group, Gary Green, has spoken about it, and Jane Cunningham and Maryland Kirk and you. The sad part about it is if we don't tell the stories from our parents and grandparents when they're gone, the story is gone.
Yeah. Donald Davis, the dean of storytelling in America, I guess, always says the surest way to kill off grandma is to quit telling her stories. So
even
there's a lot of truth to that.
True, you ought to tell them.
But I'm thinking for instance, I'm thinking my grandmother, an African American, with her life experience story might be very different than your grandmother's.
Yes.
And what happens, we don't realize what we, we can possibly losing something. Well, we are losing.
No, we
something.
are losing.
Every one of us have stories to tell.
Like my wife and her family knew that their dad had served in the Navy during World War II, but he never talked about it. And one night, in talking to him on the phone, I got him to open up. And for about an hour and a half, he spoke about being at Okinawa. He was on a small troop transport, and I could just hear the fear and the passion in his voice as he talked about his service in the Navy. And I've written this down and created it into a story that I do tell. What's sad to me is my dad, who was also in the Navy in the Pacific, was on a subchaser, captain of a little subchaser. He told me several funny stories of his service in the war. But when I was looking one day at the port of calls he had, places like Kwajalein and Eniwetok, I began to realize there's more to my dad's story, and he's gone now, and I don't have it.
Absolutely.
And that is a bitter memory to me, because I've got his funny ones, but war isn't funny. Mm-hmm. And the best way to avoid it is to understand it. Enough preaching.
Now that kind of brings up another question. The fibs are not necessarily funny. I mean, the stories can be very serious stories.
No,
right?
I imagine that these fibs will mostly be funny. The
They are
contest.
stretching the truth, and generally the ones in the past, they've had a humorous twist to them, kind of like an old Henry tale.
Now that does not mean that our storytelling group doesn't have other times. For instance, there's a fellow in town who puts together something called Poetry Night, and we hijacked it last year and made a story night.
And you did very well.
Yeah, we did very well with that, and many of those stories were personal stories. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of been the trend in storytelling over the last 20 years, really, as to more and more of the stories are personal stories.
I took a writing course from somebody in this room. I can't think of what his name is now, but anyway, several years ago,
Is that right?
and some of the stories I worked on in that writing course were basically things happened to me growing up.
Yeah. And I bet I've heard
remember
some of
taking
those,
that course, but
as your stories as well.
Your memory might be slipping, but you did teach that one day at Racco.
Oh yeah.
Now it comes to you.
No, I remember. I didn't want to relive it, but I remember.
Wait a second, we had an interesting class. Jane was in there, and I was in there. I'm trying to think of who. There was about 8 of us in there, I think.
Yeah.
I'm glad to know that y'all are in schools, because I do think storytelling is a good way to connect to people, especially through humor. Because when you can get people to laugh, I mean, I think it just breaks down walls and barriers. And
storytelling is absolutely the best way to teach writing to little kids.
Yeah, it really is.
We speak before we write, obviously. Mm-hmm. We can tell stories before we write them down. And if a kid has practiced and come up with a story that excites him and excites his friend, he's going to want to preserve it in writing. And that's kind of the basis of these activities that we're doing in the schools in the next few weeks.
We've got another break here. When we get back, we'll give you some crucial information about this event coming up. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
I'm transferring to the University of West Georgia.
Columbia University.
Kennesaw State.
UGA.
Loyola University in Chicago.
Grambling State.
Shorter University.
I'm going to Greensboro College, and we all got our start at Georgia Highlands.
No matter where your educational journey takes you, you can get your start at Georgia Highlands College. Georgia Highlands College. Enroll, engage, excel.
Welcome back to Community Watch. Big Fibbers Festival, March 19th through the 21st, with special guest Bill Lepp. You've got to be there. $25 for the whole thing. Go to bigfibbers.com or facebook.com/bigfibbers. Do it right now before you forget.
Do it.
Thank you for being with us. We will see you next time on Community Watch.
When he says this,